2, 3, come on.
Welcome to Practical Videography. Just can't do it like that. Welcome to Practical Videography. My name is Robert and I'm a full-time videographer and filmmaker.
Cool. Yeah, it is cool.
Now, I feel absolutely privileged to be able to go out every single day and shoot a video for a client or go out there and write and direct a short film. It's been a hard road to get here. I've made plenty of mistakes and you don't need to make those same mistakes because Practical Videography is going to be a channel that help all you aspiring videographers and filmmakers learn from practical examples, real life situations, so you can improve those videos and simply get more people watching them.
Yeah!
So today I'm going to share with you how to plan a video shoot from your initial idea to your finished product. Number one, why do we plan for a video shoot? So I can tell you from personal experience, it is incredibly painful when things go wrong on a video shoot. So you're either on a client site or you're in front of your boss, in front of your manager, and things are going wrong. It is just excruciatingly painful. And it doesn't need to be, because a good plan can mitigate all those things that could possibly go wrong. So it's both going to reduce your stress and make your video much more effective. Now, the great thing about this, it is not a dark art. There is a process that you can follow. So I'm going to take you through that process right now. Step one, you need to define your purpose and your audience.
How you doing? What brings you up to first class?
The very first thing that you need to do is you need to state the purpose of the video. So state it by writing it down and sharing it with all the stakeholders, all the people that are going to be involved with your video. Make it really clear and really simple. So I'm making a product video. I'm making a testimonial video. I'm making an advert. And then explain what that has to do. It has to generate more sales. It has to share our brand with a wider audience. It has to train our staff. And if you do that from the very beginning, everyone will be on the same page. So once you know the purpose of the video, you need to decide who is your audience. Now, that might be your decision if you're the owner of the business.
I'm the boss.
Or you're the head of a marketing department or a video production agency, or it could be a brief that you've received from a client. And if it is, you really need to interrogate that. So you need to find out, what is the demographic of the audience?
I'm the tooth fairy.
How old are they? Are they predominantly male or female? What things do they enjoy doing? Where do they work? How do they spend their money? There's tons of videos that help you to dive into demographics, so I'm not going to go into that now. So if you do that and you have the purpose of the video and who the video needs to engage, that is a great start. Do not make these abstract concepts, write them down, define them, make them physical, get them on a bit of paper and print them off, put them on the wall, and get all the people that are responsible for signing off the video to physically sign that bit of paper and say, yeah, I totally agree. That's the purpose of the video and that's the audience. That way you cannot go wrong. Next, you need to develop a concept for the video. So you know what the purpose of the video is, you know who your audience is. Now you've got to design a concept, so a narrative and a storyline and a set of images that you can show an audience that will convey a particular set of emotions to drive a behavior. So for instance, if that's a product video, so you're trying to market a product to those customers, you want to make it a very simple and compelling proposition. So don't overcomplicate it. What you might have in there is some beautiful product shots, but how are you going to capture them? In what environment are you going to capture them? What sort of lenses are you going to use? Is it going to be outside? Is it going to be inside? What's sometimes described as a hero shot is your target demographic. So the people that you would like to see using your product, actually get them using your product in your video. Now, what you might want to do is you might want to storyboard that. And you could do that with literally a pen and paper, or alternatively, there are loads of different storyboarding software applications out there. So you can bring that to life. You could do it in 3D. You can even place your cameras. Often when I'm planning for a film, what I do is I will storyboard absolutely every shot, and I'll have a record of the lens and the camera and the lighting positions and actors blocking, so where they're going to be in the scene. So that way I've both got a plan to work to on set, so I don't get lost. And then it helps me to communicate to all the other people involved in helping me make my video.
Shop smart, shop S-smart.
Now, pictures are great, but sometimes they're just not enough. And what you might need is a script. Now, don't freak out. A script can be very, very complex. I've written a feature script recently, 115 pages, and it literally details everything that's going on in the film. You don't need that. There's anything from a feature script to literally writing down bullet points of what you want to shoot, in what order, and what you need people to say, so your key messages. And you need to find something that works for you. It's going to be somewhere within that spectrum. But if you can, I would encourage you to write down exactly what needs to be said, by whom, how they're going to say it, where they're going to say it, so it keeps you on time. Make sure that you're going to get everything you need by the end of the day, and make sure that while people are with you, you're clearly communicating to them and they're giving you what you need to make your video incredible.
Now, shall we begin?
Now, we talked about having a storyboard, which is fantastic. It's a really great visual representation of what your video might look like, but you might need to go one step further. And rather than making last minute decisions on where you're going to put your camera, what height, what angle you're going to shoot from, what lens you're going to have on the front, what natural lighting you're going to use, where your artificial lights are going to be, where your practical lights are going to be. And if you don't know what those terms mean, I'll do another video very soon to explain all of those lighting terminology.
Spank you, Greenwall. Spank you very much.
But you're going to need to plan your shots. So the way you can do that is very simply by drawing a diagram of the room you might be in, or the space that you might be occupying, and exactly where the actor's going to be sat. Try and work out where the natural light is, because it's always better to use a natural source of light, unless of course you don't want that and you're going to block that out and just use your own artificial lights. But usually you would have some artificial lighting, so something like an LED panel or a camera top light, but make sure you've decided in advance where that's going to go. And that helps prevent you from making last minute decisions on set where you're under a lot of stress and you're panicked because people are asking how long is this going to take, and you're wondering how much time you've got left and whether you can actually fit everything you need to do into that time. Now, you might have heard of the role of a producer. Well, you might not be lucky enough to have a producer on set, and if you don't, then you are in essence the producer. So you have to organize all of the logistics, and again, put that in the plan so everyone knows what's happening. So we would call that a call sheet, and I'll do another video explaining how to write a call sheet another day.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
But for now, just try and write down exactly what's going to happen. So who you need on set, by what time, what's the address, what's the telephone number of all the people that you might need to contact, what props do they need, what are they going to be wearing, look at the weather, are they going to be prepared for weather, can you film outdoors, do you need a cover for your camera? I've got a mini umbrella, best purchase I possibly ever made, and work out how much time you need for each one of your shots to complete your video. So that means people aren't going to arrive too early, because when they arrive too early, you feel that pressure on set. You're literally feeling the eyes boring into the back of your neck.
Sweetheart, be reasonable.
And then you start to panic and you make mistakes, and you don't want that pressure. So get people just in time for when you need them. And when you don't need them, make an excuse for them to not be standing right over you when you're recording the next scene. Just takes the pressure off. So finally, we are recording our video. Hallelujah! It's happening. And this is where all of the planning comes into play. But don't forget the fundamentals. Have you got enough batteries? Have you got battery chargers? Have you got all the equipment in your kit list that you plan to bring on that day? And test the equipment before you use it for the first time. Try and get there a little bit early, turn all the lights on, turn the camera on, make sure the mics are working. The worst possible thing is when you just go to do a take and then suddenly your equipment lets you down and everyone's panicking, no one more than you. From my experience, I always think it's better to be filming and thinking like an editor. And what I mean by that is whether you're editing the video or you've got someone else editing the video for you, and they would definitely thank you for this later, is you don't want to be in that position where you've come away from the shoot and you've got big gaps in your edit. It's like, oh no, I haven't got anything to link that sequence to that sequence, or that take might be no good because the sound wasn't very good, or because the actor or the presenter didn't quite deliver the material like you hoped they would. So in that case, I would always say to do multiple takes. So minimum of 3 perhaps. So basically you've always got a minimum of 3 options to choose the best one. Also, you've already done a shot list. Make sure you physically tick those shots off. The worst possible thing is when you get into the editing suite and you think, oh my God,
I forgot to film something!
it's the worst thing in the world. Trust me, once you've done that once, you're never going to do that again. And probably one of the most important things is the most simple thing. Make sure that you know how long you've allocated for each shot. Because if you get to the end of the day and you've only covered half the material, you're only going to get half a video. You're going to be kicking yourself and the client or your boss is going to be breathing down your neck.
Not a good time to lose one's head.
Okay, you finished filming and you're back in the editing suite. And sometimes the editing process can be quite subjective. So what I tend to do is I tend to look at the storyboard, remind myself of the flow of the video, so what the narrative, what the messaging was, and start trying to place those in a really rough cut. So not trying to finesse anything. We're not color grading at the moment. We're not doing any sound production at the moment, not putting any effects or anything else on. We're just getting the flow right. And then you can go back in and add those details. You can color grade. And I'll do another video at another point to tell you what color grading is and how to do an amazing job.
I'm just living the dream.
Also, sound. It's often said that people will forgive bad quality visuals in a video, but they won't forgive bad quality sound, and it's so true. So make sure that's crisp, and if there are any issues, make sure you smooth those out so people are listening to a very pleasant audio dialogue track. Of course, you want your video to be emotional and to be pulling on those heartstrings so people take the exact action that you need them to take when they watch your video.
Maybe if we just held each other or something.
Now, putting my filmmaking hat on, it's often said music exists in a video or a film to tell the audience how they should be feeling. So the visuals are obviously taking you in an emotional direction, and what the audio does, what the music does, is it pushes you firmly in that direction. So right from the heart, you feel everything you're supposed to be feeling as the audience while you're watching that video. And the final touch would be graphics, some special effects, some sound effects, some captions, or some titles. And you'll have to decide on the best use of those depending on the type of video you're making. So we're nearly at the end of the process, but before you go and publish that video, it's always a good idea to have a small group of trusted people that have got your best interests at heart and are close to the purpose of the video. So it could be your client, it could be a colleague, it could be some people which have helped you produce the video. Share it with them and get some feedback. There are some incredible feedback tools, video feedback tools out there. I use frame.io, which I'll take you through in another video, and my clients rave about it. I will take on my clients' feedback. So if they want to see certain things, I'll make sure that's in there. So we get to the point where they literally provide a big tick in the box and they go, I love this video. I want everyone to see it as soon as possible. Now, feedback is so incredibly important because you don't want a video going out there where you're looking at it or your client's looking at it thinking, oh, do you know, I wish I made those changes. If you show it to enough trusted people at an early enough point before you export that video, then you know it's the best video it possibly can be, and it will go on to do exactly what it needs to do. So we've finally got to the end of the process and we've got a finished video ready to show our audience. So depending on the type of video, you might want to export it at a particular resolution, or you might want to export it in a particular format. You'll probably want something like a thumbnail so people can see a visual representation, a still image of that video to give them an incentive to click it before they actually watch it. That's really useful if that video is going to be embedded on a website, for example. Incredibly important, often referred to as clickbait on YouTube. And you're going to want to make sure that you have captions, or that you know you're putting it on a platform that will provide captions for you. And don't forget an incredible title, a title that helps people understand what your video is, but it's also really engaging and makes it irresistible for people to read that title and not click play on your video. So there you go. That was how to plan and execute a video project from start to finish. Now in future videos, I'm going to go into each one of those steps in a lot more detail. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.